Welcome to my Let's Play of the Talos Principle. We'll be starting a new game, and I will be doing a walkthrough, a review, and a discussion of the game. I've been trying to figure out what would be, a good game to actually start out with. Obviously, I can't just keep playing through the Scorn demo over and over again. I figure, this game will give so much to talk about with science and philosophy and history and all so and such. So, let's begin. Start out in this strange world.
Behold, child, you are risen from the dust, and you walk in my garden. Hear now my voice, and know that I am your maker, and I am called Elohim. Seek me in my temple, if you are worthy.
Alright, so before I was interrupted, the first thing we see is that our own body is robotic. We're not human, we're not even organic, we're a machine. And this voice in the sky, literally using one of the many names people have given God, Elohim, is telling us to seek him in his temple and almost implying he's created us, as we came from dust, just like people who don't understand biology think humans did. So, with nothing better to do in this old, decrepit Roman area, let's head over. The Talos Principle is a philosophical puzzle game, and I think it does really well as a puzzle game, as it doesn't hold your hand. It lets you figure things out. We can't walk through this barrier, but we can walk through the purple one. But you can't carry anything with you through a purple one. And you can't take this with you once you place it behind a blue barrier. There's no hand-holding in it, but you're able to figure things out almost naturally. Now we come across the first enemy in the game, as loose as that word can be used to describe it. These spears go in like pre-made paths, and if you get too close, it'll zoom toward you and explode. But, like the barriers, you can disable them with this. I'm sure everybody can understand the dangers of this minigun-looking thing. I don't know where I am, but there's something beautiful about this place. I will explore it and see what I can discover at version 17 point something something. So I'm not the only one to tread this path. Other people...
All across this land I have created trials for you to overcome, and within each I have hidden a sigil. It is your purpose to seek these sigils, for thus you will serve the generations to come and attain eternal life.
So other people, or should I say machines, have already gone through this place. Now we've been given a purpose by what many believe to be the ultimate being. Find these strange sigils and get eternal life. Certainly throughout human history, eternal life has been an amazing motivator for a great many things, both good and awful. I find myself in a world of impossible architecture and inexplicable machines. I cannot fathom how it works, and I am terrified to put one foot in front of the other lest I fall through the floor. Just call him Faith. These different messages from these past machines, they have their own personalities. Here are the sigils we're supposed to find, and when we do find them, we're supposed to put them into this gate. We do not have them yet, but in time we will find them. We will utilize them. Let's begin at the beginning, shall we? Though there's no hand-holding in the game, the titles of each map do give an idea of what we're supposed to do. Since it mentioned a switch, we're supposed to find one, and sure enough, following this wire here, a switch, and it's just out of reach. Can we bring it into reach? Well, we certainly can.
The shapes you are collecting are not mere toys. They are the sigils of our name. Each brings you closer to eternity.
As it turns out, God is really just one massive Tetris master. The music in this game is absolutely lovely. It's incredibly somber, which sort of sets a tone for, like, you know, this is a puzzle game and yeah, there are dangers in it. But it's nothing extreme, it's nothing that'll actively seek you out. As long as you can recognize the patterns, you should be able to avoid everything.
Well done, child. Only one more sigil is needed.
Avoid everything that'll even remotely hurt you. Some puzzles require a bit of patience, especially if you don't get it in the first cycle.
My temple awaits you, child. Go forth.
One sort of interesting thing I've noticed when playing through the game the first time is that none of the statues here have heads. Now, it's not uncommon during, you know, less enlightened times for superstitious people to lob off the heads and parts of statues they deem, you know, either giving worship to the false gods or just a bit too lewd for their tastes. But this is supposed to be a simulation. This entire area, we're not actually in any part of Rome. This is a massive computer simulation. So why they decided to remove the heads of the statues, especially when they went through all the trouble of making them to begin with, who knows? But it's interesting they chose Rome for an area for the first map. You know, one of the earliest, greatest civilizations of, human history. Now, even though we have all the green pieces, there's still a lot more to explore. So let's just...
My child, you do not need to collect all sigils at once. You are free to return to this place whenever you choose.
So, nice little hint that, this isn't the only place we need to... We don't have to get everything at once. We can come back whenever we want. If we want to rush through the game and get all the essential sigils, we can do that. But I like to stay in an area. And you'll see, there's more than just the essential stuff. One of the things I actually like about the game, in addition to all the other stuff, I said I enjoy the speed here. Like a game like this where you're walking around and picking things up and moving them, having this speed, which is a consequence of the game being on the Serious Sam engine, it just makes it seem, a lot easier, a lot less frustrating when you don't have to slowly trek your way around. Now, this one's interesting. Rather than green, it's gold. Let's see what it's about.
You are most diligent. Perhaps this trait will serve you well in times to come.
I like how when you complete an area, it actually tells you. So we've done that, we've done that. There's still 2 yet to do through there. We did all 3 of those. And that seems to be the extent of what there is to do. Let's place these in, shall we? And bring our little buddy here with us since we were able to take it out. We'll be discussing that guy pretty soon. I just want to look around and see if there's any place I can use this. In addition to sigils, there's also stars that you can collect, but I'd rather not waste anybody's time, just looking around all over and over for dozens of minutes. Doesn't look like I can find it at the moment, so I'll just leave this here. And let's see what this is about. 47 minutes, this million distributed resources found. Can't connect to any of the archives. The MLA is unresponsive. Now since we're a machine, let's start with the standard. Doesn't look like it's able to respond to any of our requests. So So might as well oblige it. And I'll say that, you know, if you want to read these letters, pause the video and do so at your own pace. As you can see, there's a bit of a story beyond the world we're in now. Let's see what Athena 6 is. Bit of ancient mythology. Athena is certainly a relevant topic for a simulated world such as this. But if you look down here, you'll see that part of the text is corrupted. A bit of this history has been lost due to a technical error. So one interesting thing about this that we notice right here is that this machine isn't like the automatic voice tellers you hear when you call a company for some troubleshooting. It actually does have a bit of personality, a tad bit of sarcasm to it. You certainly wouldn't get, you know, it's a strong way to put it, but yes, from any user interface today. Let's test out its understanding of its own language and see if it's self-aware. Well, it's not quite as intelligent as I gave it credit for. Let's see if it has any emotions. Well, at least it understands what an insult is, even if it can't take it. Quite some time has passed. At the latest, this could have been 2039. And whether or not this is a glitch or it's actually been, you know, several thousand years that this system has been going, you know, it's up in the air. As said before, a lot of history has been lost. A lot of those 30 billion photos, a lot of those 7 million minutes of video. What caused this? So in other words, entropy, at least for a computer, the laws of physics can indeed be a word creature. Elohim actually is one of the names people have given God. It's the same vein as, say, Yahweh or Allah or Jehovah. This library assistant may be able to answer questions, but it doesn't seem to be able to think very abstractly. It only understands that I am literally logged in with a guest account and doesn't seem to pick up that I am a machine interacting with it, an entity. For all it knows, it could be a software program putting input into the text, into the screen, rather than, say, an outside source typing away. Nothing else here seems to be new, so let's finally leave. We can review the texts in our journal whenever we want. So if you want to go back and look over some of the concepts or read some of the letters to piece it together, you're free to do so. And now we've reached another little hub area. We can go here.
Step into the light, child, and my temple will be revealed to you.
Can go here and go to Elohim's temple, but now there's stuff here to get, including a star, which I think I'll save those for like after I get all the sigils, just so I can review the paths and not waste too much time. Obviously we can't grab that when that thing's so close, but we'll need at least 2 of them in order to stop this and open this gate. No voice in the sky or text on the screen needed to tell us that. We're able to figure out just by looking at it. I really hope that Scorn and its puzzles end up being this intuitive, but also this well crafted. Actually been to Rome before, and some parts of it really do look a lot like this. Just a few brick walls standing, some columns without any purpose. If they even still stand completely as it is. Balls, only one of these jammers, but it looks like we can get them out of the path. Then we're free to head inside. Looks like we've got all the sigils in this area, and as said before, I'll have to come back and find the star, let's say after we did everything else in the game. I know I didn't go into any discussion of philosophy or any science or about artificial intelligence, but for the first part of the game, I just want to sort of discuss the mechanics of it, the objectives, and just a little bit of a review. But as the videos go on, and the puzzles and mechanics start to become very much the same, nothing new under the sun, I'll go into discussions about these higher concepts and hopefully provide some interest. So at last, let's follow the strange voice in the sky and head into the light.
You walk now upon the stones of my temple, whence many gates lead. And know that I have other temples, for my garden is greater than your eye can encompass. And all these worlds I made for you.
It does have a very Genesis vibe to it. Trying to find his garden, the entire world was made for me. Given that this is a simulation, it's technically true. Over here, as you saw, there's this other puzzle bit, and inside you can grab a new item that provides a new mechanic. But alas, we do not have enough gold pieces for either of them. But we were able to get some, especially here where it's all gold. But I will be saving that for later. In each of these little hubs here, there's 7 exits to go through, and about 5, 4, 6, however many sigils to get in each one. Some of them harder than others, green being easy, the gold being of varying difficulties. It's not exactly a progression sigil, but one needed to get the new mechanics, and red is the difficult one. Well, until next time, thanks for watching.